And good day to you, grade twos. I hope you are all well today. We're going to listen to the story of Jesus calming the storm. And this is a very well-known story in the Bible, which I think you may have heard before. And we're going to read the version that is found in Mark, which is in the New Testament. So let us first understand where this story takes place. It takes place on a lake known as the Sea of Galilee, and this is a real lake which is found in Israel. It is the lowest freshwater lake on earth, so that's quite interesting. Here you can see a map of what it looks like, and you can see that it is surrounded by land, and on the photo underneath you can see that the lake is also completely surrounded by hills. And it was known that a lot of wind would blow from the land across to the sea or the Lake of Galilee, and this often caused violent storms which came out of nowhere. So at the beginning of this story, Jesus was with his disciples, and it was evening time, and Jesus said to the disciples that they should cross to the other side of the lake. So that's where the story takes place, and now we're going to listen to what happens. The sun was going down. The air was warm and still. "Let's go across the lake," Jesus said to his friends. Jesus had been helping people all day, and now he was tired. So they left the crowds at the shore and set out in a small fishing boat. Jesus climbed into the boat to take a nap. As soon as his head touched the pillow, he fell fast asleep. It was a beautiful evening. A gentle breeze rustled the sails. The friends were chatting happily as they headed out into the middle of the lake. Everything was perfect, just right for a nice quiet sail. They were only about halfway across when, out of nowhere, whirling winds swept across the lake, fierce and strong like a hurricane. A blinding flash of lightning lit up the sky. Thunder roared right overhead. The storm blew the water into towering waves that hurled the little boat up, 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 then sent it hurtling, crashing down, down, down. The fishing boat was blown and buffeted and tossed and turned, back and forth and up and down and left and right and round and round. And in the middle of the storm, Jesus was sleeping. Now Jesus' friends had been fishermen all their lives, but in all their years fishing on this lake, they had never once seen a storm like this one. No matter how hard they struggled with their ropes and sails, they couldn't control their boat. This storm was too big for them. But the storm wasn't too big for Jesus. "Help!" they screamed. "Wake up! Quick, Jesus!" Jesus opened his eyes. "Rescue us! Save us!" they shrieked. "Don't you care?" Of course Jesus cared, and this was the very reason he had come, to rescue them and to save them. Jesus stood up and spoke to the storm. "Hush!" he said. That was all. And the strangest thing happened. The wind and the waves recognized Jesus' voice. They had heard it before. Of course, it was the same voice that made them in the very beginning. They listened to Jesus, and they did what he said. Immediately the wind stopped. The water calmed down. It glittered innocently in the moonlight and lapped quietly against the side of the boat, as if nothing had happened. The little boat bobbed gently up and down. There was a deep stillness and a great quiet all around. Then Jesus turned to his wind-torn friends. "Why were you scared?" he asked. "Did you forget who I am? Did you believe your fears instead of me?" Jesus' friends were quiet as the wind and the waves, and into their hearts came a different kind of storm. "What kind of man is this?" they asked themselves. "Even the wind and the waves obey him," they said, because they didn't understand. They didn't realize yet that Jesus was the Son of God. Jesus' friends had been so afraid. They had only seen the big waves. They had forgotten that if Jesus was with them, then they had nothing to be afraid of. No matter how small their boat or how big the storm. Wow, what a brilliant story. Can you imagine being in that small boat, in that huge big storm? How terrified you must have felt. Surely you would think you would drown. But Jesus, through all of that, was calm. He was still asleep. And all he had to say was hush, and the storm subsided. Wow! How can we relate this to our own lives? We can remember that we do face storms too in our own lives. We can go through difficult times, times that we do not understand why it's happening to us. But as Christians, we know that God is with us. He will calm the storms in our own lives. He will help us if we pray and trust in Him. Anything that we are faced with, if we lean into it and trust God, He will help us. The disciples doubted Jesus. We mustn't make that same mistake. We must always know that God is with us. Now you are going to complete the activity in your yellow Bible book on page 21. You can draw a picture first of any part of the story you like. Remember to use lots of colors. Then underneath you are going to write down the story in your own words. Try and use lots of expression. Make it as interesting as the story you just heard. Have fun, boys and girls. See you soon. Bye.